Hey guys, Lux Capital here. Just wanted to go over the afternoon session with you. I didn't stream it, so I figured I'd make a quick video about it. And I didn't record it either, which was stupid. But this is all post-recording now, but I wanted to talk through catching this afternoon meltdown. That turned out to be quite nice. And I at least took a chunk out of it. Could have been way better, but you could say could have been about a million things. And, I have fully accepted what I've got, and I'm actually really, really happy with it. Again, not letting that emotion take over and lead to impulsive decisions because my confidence is high. But it just feels good, right? You can't deny that. So I wanted to show you guys how I read what was going on. If you watched the live stream in the morning, it was pretty dull. When Powell was speaking, there was no drastic movements of any kind. It was just, well, look at it. All the way up, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down. I've been hearing the term barcode. It's just barcode price action. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So if you're nimble enough, you can get in there like right after it bounces off of this really old order block, which is what it respected today in the morning. You could have grabbed something, but it was ugly. So there's two longs in here that one broke even and one was like an $80 some loss. Not a big deal. $80. Wanted to see if I could get in there, even though you shouldn't. It's red folder news. Don't do it. But my check boxes were being checked for my model. It had come down and taken previous session lows. It had market structure shifted on the 5-minute. It returned to a fair value gap. I could have caught something. Let me see if I can go down and show you. But I entered on the fair value gap on the a fair value gap too early. I should have waited and gone further down. So I know this is huge and zoomed in, but where did I entered up here on this candle when it came down into the fair value gap. I should have waited for that one. Reason being, had I waited for this one, I'll just show you this. So it was something like, I don't know, take profits up there. And I believe I put my stop loss down here. Yeah, 4 1/4. So, hang on, maybe not. When did I get, was this my loss? Yeah, this one was my loss. So, there was that. It's kind of dumb, if you ask me, and I should have waited until this little guy. It's like 2 ticks. Reason being, let me get rid of this and just show you from the. I'm too zoomed in. From the low that started the impulse. My mouse, I swear I need a new mouse, is so sensitive and I don't know how to change it. It double clicks on single clicks. It's annoying. Okay, so that white line is 50%. This fair value gap is under 50%. This fair value gap is above 50%. So I should have seen that. I should have, I don't know what was happening there. But had I, upon review, even the shortest stop loss of 3 1/4 handle would have been messy. But I mean, we're talking something. I personally probably would have tapped out here, 7 handles, 8 handles. Next stop would have really probably been up here. So, somewhere in this first impulse leg is knowing myself where I wouldn't have held through this and then into the afternoon. Yeah, probably not. So I would have had something, and that's a learning experience. So this afternoon, the way that I read this, and see. So it started with the new day opening gap. This was yesterday's close. This was today's open. So we had this gap down. We're going to fill that at some point. It's usually right away, but not always right away. And sure enough, in the afternoon, we started heading towards it. It would have been nice for something to happen in here, and I could have caught this. This was a silver bullet, actually. You guys want to see that? It would have been nice to catch that leg up, but I caught the leg down with some of it. You can see it's not much, but so let's just say for S and Gs, I think it was right before silver bullet, so a lot of people missed it. I think it's on the 1 minute that you see it. Yeah. That. Does ES not have it? Oh yeah, it's at least a tick. It's right here. Draw with lines. Right there. There was an entry into it after 2. Came down, booped it, shot off, filled the gap perfectly, rejected wicks with a wick. I mean, it was textbook, if you ask me. This is weird. And I don't know how many people bought into it, but I don't know what I was doing. I wasn't even paying attention right here. I wasn't looking at the charts. Or I wasn't looking at the charts with any interest in doing anything. No, I was, actually. I was, because what I was thinking it's going to go in here. But I was not on the 1 minute. So there was no fair value gap down here. There was nothing. Could have maybe made a case for entering off of this order block had it retraced to it, but it didn't. I literally didn't have a retracement into something that fit what I was looking for, and I had already taken a loss and then a break even. I think the labels will show up here. 44. Oh, it lagged. 2 ticks lag. I had it because I entered 44.16, so I'll show you right where that is. 44.16. So I was in something. This is where I was in it, and from trying again after this loss, because I'm like, I know it's going up, right? It's part of my model. Maybe it'll go in and fill this gap. Again, still too early because I had all this drawdown for whatever reason, but got all the way up here and like hit the gap and was like, nah, not yet. It came all the way down and I held it to 44.15.75. So I was a tick above break even, and it went 44.15.75. Well, 1 tick. Oh, right at my entry. Okay. So I did break exactly even. Good thing I do the 1 tick because there's a 1 tick spread. So at exactly break even, I was like, whatever. I tried. Which is good because it would have stopped me out anyway. But let's get to the meat. So what I saw was this new day opening gap. Like, it's got to be filled. And as it started to get in here, I'm like, what's going to happen once the gap is filled? That's not a daily. It's part of my template. I think it was a 5M. It's either a 5M or a 15M. Order block, it looks pretty decent here on the 15, but I was like, what are we going to go? What are we going to do? So I went up a time frame and checked things out. We've got a nice fair value gap here. Double click. So I'm like, okay, that's probably something. Right above it's an order block. I'm like, all right, that's even better. And then over here, hang on. I didn't have this drawn out, but I'm noticing it now. I want to see if it's an actual breaker. So a breaker is... One sec, I want to make sure it's the lower low or the higher low, because the other one's a mitigation. So where did I put that note? Breaker is a low, a high, a lower low, yep, and then a higher high, which I don't, yeah, higher high. And then retrace. Oh, I'm looking at bullish breaker. Dang. High. Low. Higher high. Lower low and retrace. Yeah. Was a breaker. Cool. I didn't see that before, but now I'm going to add it for my analysis, my screenshot and analysis later. But anyway, we've got 3 of those guys, right? 3 PD arrays right there. But even just off of the fair value gap and the bearish order block up there a little bit, I knew I was going to be okay. And I entered a contract 1 right here just to see if it was going to react or if it was going to take this out. And it reacted. So after I saw all this, I jumped ahead a little bit of myself. After I saw this, I jumped down here to try to look for entry. It came in, came out, came back in again. So I think when it came out, I moved my stop and stopped myself out. But yeah, after it rejected off of that and then, came up and rejected again, I tried to get in right as it was leaving, and should have held it. It's one contract. I think my stop was up here at this high, at this swing point. So like the order block is there to protect me too, and I moved it, which is fine because it led to a better trade. But it rejected, came back in, rejected again. So I had all the confidence in the world, right? I'm like, this is going down. We filled the gap. We're out of here. So I upped my contracts. But so now I'm like, okay, this would have been okay. I got a better entry because I went down to the 1 minute, but this fair value gap entering on it would have got you in. But I went to the 1 minute to try to make sure I didn't miss the entry because I had missed it on the run up on my second trade because I was on the 5 minute. So I didn't see anything there. So I'm like, well, I don't like the 1 minute, but let's dabble. So we've got another breaker and a fair value gap, which I didn't put in here because I didn't even consider it. I'm like, this is a breaker right here. I'm just going in. But nonetheless, breaker, fair value gap. I'm sure there's an order block somewhere in here. Like, it's stacked. So I took it. 10 contracts right here. Right here on the limit as it came in. And my first take partial was right here. I was going to take half and let the rest go. But I said, no, I'll just take it all. 10 micros. I took it all right there at that swing low level. Can't make it up. Wish I would have held it, obviously. My target was, and I know this is, anybody could say anything, but my target was 44.09 because previous session. Oh, previous session lows were way down there. Anyway, 44.09 was these swing lows, but as you can see, it played out beautifully. It looks like a no-brainer on the higher time frames. Like, of course, that's exactly where it's going to go. It came up here, failed to take out this swing high, and at that point it seeks the next swing, and it did that. I didn't even look at the 1 hour, but I suppose we could. But yeah, so I took 5 handles out of here at 10 micros, made my old daily wage for my job, and said that's acceptable for now, as I'm still coming out of drawdown, as I'm still building confidence. It came all the way down to this order block and rejected perfectly off of it. 4409 would have nailed it. So hindsight, you got to learn. You got to learn from how things transpire, even if it's hindsight. So it's a good learning experience for me today. I'm going to make huge notes in my journal about this, and that's why I make these videos too, so I can go back and, I have certain days starred where it's got good nuggets in it to remember, good things that I learned that day that I should kind of in my list of days that I traded. So like today we'll have a star by it because there's good nuggets to go back and make sure I remember and learn. So that was the afternoon. Thought I'd share what I saw. And one of my buddies was seeing basically the same thing. I wasn't really picking up what he was putting down. Let me see if I can pull up his screenshots. Because it looked like it was lining up with mine, but his stuff is very zoomed in, so I couldn't quite tell. He's on the 5 minute, and he's looking at 44.30. I bet he was looking right at the same. Oh, maybe it was this. This whole ass order block right here is what I think he was looking at. And it just one ticked in there. Yeah, it one ticked into that order block and friggin' dumped. So I think that's what he was looking at. I used a 15 minute. Mine is a 15 minute. Smaller order block somehow, because all that wick maybe, but he used this. He was looking at this 5 minute, which is still totally great and valid, and turned out beautifully. Really, it did. I mean, you got a rejection off an order block just before a swing, 2 point stop. It's golden. So that was my afternoon. The $1,000 in 10 days is because of that loss, and then the win. It's offset a little bit, but I had to take away the spreadsheet cell that I had viewable last video because OBS crashed on me when I tried to edit it. So we are now plus $212.57 on day 2. So cool, right? Hopefully we get there. We're a fifth of the way there, and we've still got I'm not trading tomorrow. No, maybe the afternoon. I might trade the afternoon, Friday, and then next week. So stay tuned, keep an eye on it. Thanks for checking this out. Yeah, catch you later.